Hi, everyone. I'm Andre Vicario with CalChoice Investments, and I want to congratulate you for taking the time to be on this call tonight to learn about land banking, California's premier real estate vehicle for the 21st century, brought to you by CalChoice Investments. And what you're going to learn tonight in about 20 minutes is how to diversify your portfolio and utilize the alternative investment, the investment that most people aren't thinking about, but most people are totally familiar with it. So as we get on this call, I just want to say sit back, relax, and go ahead and take some notes if you'd like, because for about 20 minutes, I'm going to share with you a concept that's been around for centuries. First thing I want to do is share with you a little bit about us here at CalChoice. How we came about and why we're here. Well, truly it came about through making sure that people had a truly diversified portfolio in their financial assets. It's super important. We here at CalChoice have an extended background in financial planning and helping businesses and individuals grow their wealth and retirement for nest eggs, and we've been doing that for nearly 2 decades. But one of the things that's super important is we've realized that there's an increasing need for the alternative investment, a little bit of a hedge against the traditional markets. Most of us are super familiar with stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, but we may not be totally happy with those investments. Now, when we think about real estate, we hear people talk about it all the time. It sounds sexy and sounds fun, but we might be hesitant because we don't know enough about it, and or we don't have the time to do the legwork to get involved. So what I'm going to share with you is how you can be a part of that and not have to worry about doing all that legwork because it's already been done for you. Our primary mission and focus here is for those of you that may have fallen behind a little bit, we want to help you get caught up and, more importantly, get ahead. It's super important because when you look at the traditional markets today, most of us sit back and look at it and say, gosh, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get ahead. One day it's up, one day it's down. My portfolio is growing at 3 to 5%. Inflation's growing at 3.5 to 4%. I'm really not getting anywhere after taxes. Well, I'm going to share with you something that's going to really make a difference in the next 10 years of your life. So through this alternative investment, we help people diversify their assets into a vehicle called land banking. And land banking is something that we're all familiar with. It's created wealth for so many years. It's a real estate investment that we're all familiar with. Most of us have been a part of a real estate investment at one time or another, and that's all we're talking about. But it's how we do it, the unique way in which we do it. But lastly here, we want to make sure we mention that it's an investment that's been proven over time as one of the strongest and most stable opportunities. And that's what's super, super important. Sit back for a moment and ask yourself, how many people do you know are extremely wealthy as a result of their real estate investments? We probably know 2 or 3 of them, each and every one of us on the call now. So let's understand what land banking is. It's the time-tested wealth-building strategy of acquiring select pre-developed land in the growth path of a major metropolitan center, waiting for its value to mature and selling it for a significant profit in the future. Land in the path of growth is where it all begins. This is our basic, simple model. I mean, it sounds really simple. There's a lot more that goes into it from our end, but really is all you're doing is you're buying this land in the path of growth, wait for its value to mature, and you sell it. That's what CalChoice specializes in, is buying and acquiring this land in these specific markets that are in that general path of growth. It's super important to understand it because that's where much, much wealth is created. This is what the property looks like when we're buying it here at CalChoice for our customers. So we look at specific areas of growth, and there's a multitude of things that need to be in place before we'll buy the property, and you're going to learn more about that in a little bit, our 10 key indicators. And once a property qualifies for that, then we'll go ahead and purchase it. And this is what it looks like when we buy it, but just imagine this for a second. Just 7 to 10 years later, it looks like this, because we're buying land that's in an area of growth that already has a general master plan for the entire area. So we know where the growth is going. We understand that. We also work with the city to know and understand where the permits are being applied for, where zoning changes are being requested. Those are the areas targeted for growth by the developers. Those are the areas that we focus on. So there's a quick simple snapshot of what it looked like when we bought it and what it looks like after a few years when our customers purchase it and the developers come in and buy it from our customers. Wouldn't you like to have this opportunity? You're probably looking at this saying, gosh, there's an area here and an area there that's near us that I wish I would have done this. If I would have known then what I know now, it would be different. That's what I want you to realize. Just think for a moment how often you've said to people, if I knew then what I know now, things would be different. Well, now I'm sharing with you that opportunity. This is what it looks like when we purchase it and make it available to our customers, and in a short period of time it looks like this. It turns into a little mini city. And that's the area that we focus on, is in that general path of growth. Now you're probably saying, well, gosh, I may not have money sitting in my checking account. How am I going to do this? Well, you probably have other underperforming assets that qualify for land banking. Do you have an IRA? Do you have an old 401k sitting around? Some Roth plans? All of these programs we can utilize to purchase land. We do it through a unique process where there is no taxation. I know most of you are saying, well, I'll be taxed if I use my IRA or my 401k. Well, through our specific and unique process that's been around since the 70s, you will not be. We make sure that we keep your plan qualified through the whole process. That's what makes us a little bit unique. This is the process in which we use. Once we decide that we're going to move forward, we have these stages that we go through because we want to make sure that first and foremost you're comfortable with the process. You'll see that we meet, we go over a property. Once we decide we like it, then we work on what funds are available. We start to transfer those funds from one custodian to the other to create the self-directed IRA. That's where your money's going to go. We open up an escrow, and from the escrow we get title insurance in place. We get everything in place before it records to give you your grant deed. So imagine this, at the end of the process, you're going to own land free and clear. Isn't that nice? How often here in America do we own things free and clear? It doesn't happen very often, especially with real estate, but through our unique process, you will. You will own this land. It'll be in your name, filed with the county as a grant deed. It's pretty awesome. Where's the best value for your retirement dollar? Well, let's think about that for a minute. You know, the tangible assets that represent true diversification from traditional market trends, this is real estate. That's where it fits because most people have all their money in paper assets. Well, more and more financial advisors are recommending to their customers to have their money in a hard asset, something that is tangible, so that something that doesn't necessarily coincide with the movement of the market. It's important that we understand that. We want to have money that's not going to be as volatile as the paper markets, and that's why we move some of our money into real estate. And I'll share with you, I've been a financial advisor in the Newport Beach, California area for, gosh, over 16 years now, and the one thing I have to tell you is there's people here with a lot of money, and when I get to the opportunity to be with some high net worth people, the thing that's interesting is after they've worked with other financial advisors, I've noticed that most of those advisors have their money, you know, sometimes 30 and 40% of it into a hard asset, such as land. So it's interesting. What's good for them should be good for us, the middle class, everybody else in between. So we want to be able to put this investment together so that we can help everybody create the same wealth that the rich people get the opportunity to do. So think about that for a moment. Our investment is gauged at about a 7 to 10 year time frame. What we do is we purchase in below market value times. That's what we do. We specialize in acquiring it in strong population and growth places. That's what we focus in on. So imagine if we bought land in an area that has extreme growth. Well, supply and demand, we understand that, the basics of economics. That's where we focus. That brings us here to California to help us understand where we're doing this investment. When you look at this, this is California. There's 37.5 million people residing in the state of California. It's the 8th largest economy in the world, and there's limited land available. So let's look at that for a moment. 82% of California is already designated to wildland. We're not going to change that. 10% is already developed. It's done. That leaves 8% remaining for farming and pre-developed land. That's what's special. So when you think about it, as the demand goes up, the supply is going to continue to go down, and that's what makes the value continue to go up. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus in on this little area down here called Southern California. It's the greater Los Angeles area is what we want to focus in on. And look at this. This is the 60-mile radius around Los Angeles, which is the world's 17th largest economy. Isn't that kind of amazing when you put it in perspective? Los Angeles occupies over half of California's total population with 18.5 million people. What's even more exciting is there's another 1.7 million people expected over the next 10 years. For those of you that have been to Southern California, driven around Los Angeles, you're probably saying, where are those people going to go? I'm saying the same thing because I'm talking to you from there right now. There's not much elbow room to begin with already, but there is one area left in Southern California that's primed for growth. And we're going to take a look at that, and it's northern Los Angeles County. You see that there's that mountain range right there. Well, today you don't have to worry about that mountain range. There's a 12-lane highway that goes back and forth and accommodates over 71,000 daily commuters right now. So what used to take 3 to 4 hours to access today, you can do it in about 50 minutes. So it's pretty awesome and exciting. And now there's areas for growth and expansion. And this is where we're focused and targeted on. These are the 10 key indicators that we utilize when we purchase land. Our buyers know that each and every one of these things must be present before we will purchase the land. So when you look at some of these things, you can seek and identify which ones are really super, super important. They all are, but there's some that are a little bit more interesting than others, and we're going to talk about some of those in just a moment as we go through this, because we want to make sure that we understand all of them, because in the top right corner you see the transportation I just shared with you. There's a new highway there, and then in the bottom you see the Walmart, and there's some things that are kind of special about Walmart, and Walmart goes out and buys their land before they build their buildings. Now, if you understand the model of Walmart, they have low prices. They have low margins, but tremendous volume. So in order for a Walmart to put a store in a given area, they know the population needs to be there to support the store. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a hint. Walmart has done some of the homework for all of us. There's already 5 Walmarts in the area and 2 more on the outskirts of this area that we're talking about, which is primed for land banking. If it's good enough for Walmart, it was definitely good enough for me, and it really helps us when we do our research, because I know that they have enough people in their research and development department and a budget to accommodate it to make sure that the research is done properly. And here's another brand new release that's kind of interesting. Most of you are looking at the screen probably chuckling because you know who Warren Buffett is. Well, Warren Buffett has made a career and billions of dollars out of making good decisions. One of his companies has come in contact with SunPower, which is a local alternative energy company there in the valley, and they put together a deal. Warren Buffett's company is investing $2.5 billion in this valley that we're talking about is primed for growth. And there's a multitude of reasons why he's doing that, but one that's probably near and dear to all of us is the growth in the area, and more importantly, the alternative energy. It's also going to accommodate over 650 jobs just during construction. So I just wanted to share that with you because there's people like him that are investing in this area. There's Disney Studios put 2 studios up out there that's employing 3,500 people. So there's more and more things happening in and around this area that are super important, but it's also another major indicator of why people want to be out there. Another one is right here. This is the news release for the California High-Speed Rail, and you could see right here, I'm going to pull my mouse in here, and this is the area that we're talking about for growth, right here where my cursor is. Now, if you think about that, there's going to be a stop right there in this valley that we're talking about, right in the city and the region which we're talking about for land banking. And if you look at history, history tells us where there's a train stop and an airport, the population follows and it grows. So super important to realize that. So when we look at this, you can see that California's already passed the bill and it's moving forward. This is going to be actually in effect and building right here in 2013, and it's going to take about 15 years for the whole project to be completed. But how awesome is that going to be to see this be built throughout the state of California? And here's a neat quote from the Transportation Secretary. No economy can grow faster than its transportation network allows. With highways between California cities congested and airspace at a premium, Californians desperately need an alternative, and we do. this is going to be a fantastic way to commute around the state. Think about it. They have it all over Europe. Why can't we have it here? We absolutely should, and we will. Super exciting to be a part of that. But let's get into some statistical information so that we can help us understand a little bit more of why we want to be there. Here's some residential development permits that have been tracked and are future projected. This whole information I'm giving you is as a result of the Antelope Valley Land Appreciation or Regional Economic Analysis as of June 2012. So when we look at this, we can see residential permits were on a gradual decline. Well, we knew we had some major problems in our economy over the last few years, but look at what's happening now. They're already on the upswing. Take a look at that. One thing I can share with you is right now there's 13,500 permits already approved for building and development right now in this valley. Here's another huge indicator is the residential sales that are starting to swing radically. Just like most other places, they were hit through this real estate turmoil, but they're on the upswing as well. But here's another major one to look at. This is businesses investing money. Take a look at 2012 and going forward. There's millions and millions of dollars being invested in this valley. And why? Because it's the next area of future growth and development. We want to be there before it's totally developed so that we can make money just like the wealthy people do. And that's what this is all about, is giving us all the opportunity. So now let's take a look at the results, because when we add all these things up, let's make sure they all make sense. Oh, this study was comprised over a 17-year period. So when we think about that, the average property annual appreciation rate over a 17-year period for the properties that qualified. Now, mind you, they're all just land, over 9,000 transactions. That means it had to be sold, bought, sold, and bought again in order for it to qualify for this study. And over 9,000 properties did, and they averaged 24% rate of return on an annual basis. The average hold time was 3.7 years. Yes, you're probably saying, well, Andre, you told us 7 to 10 earlier. Well, and I'm going to hold to that 7 to 10 because these people that sold at 3.7 years, yeah, they may have doubled their money. What if they would have held on to it for another 2 or 3 years? They might have tripled it. And that's what I want to share with our customers. And we help them understand that when they work with us here at CalChoice. Right place, right time, and right company. You've heard me talk about that and CalChoice and how we do things several times. But it's important to understand that we buy and offer only select parcels that present specific advantages and benefits in the marketplace. We probably put out 20 to 30 offers a week on a weekly basis. I mean, the properties need to be very specific in order for them to work with us. We price below current market value even when real estate is down, because we buy it right. We turn around and extend that value to our customers. We want to make sure that our customers are getting the property 20, 30, and sometimes even 40% below today's current market value. That's important to us, and that's the value of working with CalChoice. So when you think about long-term returns, it's phenomenal. We also, at CalChoice, make sure that we have customer support along the entire process. We don't just help you get in, we maintain your property with you during the interim process of a sale. So we help you with the annual taxes, because along with real estate, you do have annual taxes, and we're there with you along the way, helping you on what amount is your portion of the tax bill. And we do that for each and every one of our customers gladly. So it's another important service that we provide. Let me share with you one of our parcels. This was a parcel on our inventory a year or two ago. It's already sold, but I just wanted to be able to share it with you from a value perspective. Take a look at it. First and foremost, the one thing you recognize is there's a ton of building and construction all around it. There's little pockets of subdivisions of houses, and you see malls. You can see big auto malls. You can see shopping complexes. You see everything here. Well, this is the area in which we specialize in. We work in areas like this, so you're not buying land out in the middle of nowhere. We're buying land in an area of supreme growth. Our subject property here was sold for $92,000 an acre. I believe this was a 5-acre parcel. But take a look at the properties right around it, just below it, which is a stone's throw away. That property sold for $144,000 an acre. Above it, $309,000 an acre, $156,000 an acre, and $146,000 per acre. At CalChoice, we were at $92,000 an acre. When you look at that, that's the value that we bring to our customer base. We want to make sure that our customers have equity day one. We do this through our tenants in common formats, because a lot of people are probably looking at that slide going, well, I don't have 92,000, nor do I have 500,000, but I like the property. I would love to be a part of that. Well, you can be through our unique and specialized format. Tenants in common allows us to leverage the property without having a loan. So imagine if you were able to buy an undivided interest in that parcel, have your own specific grant deed fee simple with title insurance. You would like to be a part of that because you don't have to worry about anything else. If you own 10 or 20% of that property, that 20% is in a grant deed filed in your name. You control it. You decide what you want to do with it. That's the beauty of working with us here at CalChoice. We have the innovation that continues to work with you and your financial situation in the future. So one thing we like to share is some of our customers have sent in some testimonials, and these are pretty awesome. If you'd like to take a moment and read through them and look at them, feel free to do so. You can go to our website, calchoiceinvestments.com, and you can see what some of our customers have said on there. But right here, I mean, you can see, more importantly, this is an older couple on the top right corner. I met them literally sitting in a Denny's out in Arizona one day. They probably felt sorry for me because I was sitting alone, but it was really kind of neat because we were able to help them with some of their estate planning and passing money to the next generation. And they didn't want the next generation to blow the cash, so they put it into land and said specifically they want to hold it for 10 years in their trust. Phenomenal way to go about estate planning. The other one we wanted to share with you is from a realtor. Most of you are thinking, well, realtors can go out and do this on their own. Yeah, they probably could, but guess what? They don't have the research that we have involved with every property. So probably about 30% of our customer base is all from realtors because they know and understand the real estate format. So when they hear how our format works, they look at it, they see the numbers, it's a no-brainer, they jump in. So we've been very successful in that process. So now you're thinking, well, what do I do next? Because this all sounds phenomenal. Well, the first thing you want to do is make sure that this message was totally clear and is going to work for you and your family. And if that's the case, then we're going to figure out which asset is going to work best under these formats. Because if you have money sitting in an IRA that's not performing, you have money sitting in an old 401k that's not performing, well, let's put those into a self-directed IRA and give you the opportunity to buy land, something that's going to have growth over a period of time. That's what we specialize in here at CalChoice. Give us that opportunity to work with you. Now, the person who recommended you to be on this call is definitely going to be able to help get you started. And what they're going to do is they're going to connect you with one of our land banking coaches here at CalChoice, and they're going to walk you through a property or two so that we can find the best one that works for your financial situation. Then they're going to go ahead and fill this out for you. They're going to take care of this and get us your information so that we're prepared to open up your escrow and get your money moving so that it's done properly. And that's one of the things that we do here for you at CalChoice. We want to make sure that the process is seamless and without any stress. We do 95% of the work. So just know that as you think about it and you're preparing to grow your assets, think about CalChoice Investments. I truly appreciate the time. I know it's late in some of the areas where some of you folks are on this call, but I appreciate it, and more importantly, congratulations. Get back to the person who referred you to this call, talk to them, and see how CalChoice can be part of your financial future. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you.